All right, you got your talking head back here again. Um, you know why they call it talking head? Because you don't see the rest of the body most of the time. Anyway, this video is pretty much going to cover. I'm just going to start out with it right now and just speak. There's a couple things I want to talk about. The first thing is that I've heard that when a population becomes, revolts against its government, that if the population does not know who the right targets would be, they just go for anything. I think I've heard something like this or the same thing. So I guess my concern is that as America becomes more and more whatever, if this population rises, you might say rises up, they very well just might go after the wrong targets. For one thing, the targets they would obviously go after, from what I get out of it, I guess a lot of them aren't even in the United States. So we get the pleasure of, if this happens, to see the population go after the government buildings and whatever else. That's really great. Let's smash. It's like, oh good, they're going to smash some government buildings, just like they did back in civilizations, countries in the past. Rome had a great experience with that, I believe. A lot of their statues, and I think Greece had the same thing. A lot of their buildings were destroyed, and the correct targets, which they should have went after, they might not have went after. But they destroy a lot of nice architecture. I mean, which they shouldn't destroy, but they. That's what I assume. That's what I assume. That's what I assume happened. The other topic is unemployment extensions. Unemployment extensions. I'm kind of surprised that the extension didn't happen. I kind of predicted that. I assumed that the New World Order would have extended it. I assumed that they, because obviously, I believe that the extension would have happened if the quote unquote controllers wanted it to happen. I assume though that there might be an emergency extension still, but I wouldn't necessarily count on it because it wasn't done yet. But that could happen. But I will say this is so I'm kind of surprised. So apparently it seems to be that these people have chosen not to extend it for some reason or reasons. Some might say that, gosh, the tension is building up in other countries such as Greece, Ireland. Well, it's already been there, but it's spreading in Europe in particular. And maybe the controllers have decided that it is time to bring the United States up to at least a higher level of tension, because these other countries are rising up to that, and maybe these people decide, these controllers have decided that we got to bring them all. We don't have so much time left, and we got to bring the United States up too. I mean, if they actually have planned this, it seems like a lot of things are falling right into place, because the Republicans have gotten more control, and we're going to see, because the Republicans are being accused, they have been, their purpose, I believe, is to now bring in, you might say, restrictions on spending. whether or not, let's put it this way: there has to be certain roles played in a game, and if you don't have anybody playing a certain role, you got to create people to fill that role. But what I'm getting to is the Republicans have filled a role, and the Democrats have filled a role. And the reasons why I think the other parties are not really very popular is because they don't really fit a role, you might say, in the overall game. And when I say the overall game, I mean the people who are in charge of the media and stuff like that to a great degree. They look at these other things and they're not helpful to them, so they don't really they know not to advertise them and try to keep them down as much as possible, and then focus on the main two players, which are the Democrats and Republicans, and use them to manipulate things and try to keep as much as possible the population thinking they are Democrats or Republicans, and fight either side. One side fights the other. What I'm getting to is that now it seems that the Republicans are being used to play their role to reduce spending. And the Democrats are finding that, I think they're also finding, as we've heard recently about Obama has, I think, put, freezes, I think, on federal employees' wages or something like that. So it's not Republicans only who are doing certain things. The actions now what I see out of this is that spending for the average guy in America is going to be reduced. Government's going to put more and more of its, as it can, more and more of its. It's going to try to direct authority. Let me rephrase this. It's going to try to tell people what to do, and which also means that they're going to try to restrict individual choice and freedom more. It's authoritarian. That's what I get out of it. Authoritarian, the definition being, as I remember, is favoring. It means favoring strict obedience to an authority and limits on personal freedom. Reduction on that. That's what I get out of it. So we definitely are in that area, and there's levels of it. It can become more and more and less, obviously, and hopefully it's only within the federal government which is doing this. But I'm finding it to be more annoying in other areas too. But let's put it this way. It seems to me that the extension wasn't done for a purpose, and it seems to put more pressure. Apparently the controllers want the Americans to have to be more like what's happening over in Europe for some reason. Okay, and also I've noticed that the world crude oil prices, on a third item I just thought of, the world crude oil prices. I'm rather tired here. I'm about to go to bed. They are going down. Now I think the reason why they're going down is actually I honestly could just have some guesses why it's going down. It could be that the New World Order people are afraid that Lindsey Williams told everybody, and they don't want to follow. They want to do the opposite of what Lindsey Williams has been told. I can't say that's what is going on. One could say that, but I think there's a possibility that the reason why it's going down is because hopefully this doesn't happen, but there could be a war that is planned, you see. And they want to blame, I think, most of the problems we're having. Definitely not on the bankers. Definitely not on the government. Definitely not on the Federal Reserve. Definitely not on things which are the true things. They want to blame it on things that are not true. Therefore, the actual sources of the problems are not really confronted by the people, and therefore not handled. I think there's possibly a war attempting to be brought about, and that's when we could actually see oil prices jump from where they're at right now, even though they're decreasing. And the reason why I think they're decreasing is because they want to bring them down lower, so that when the prices jump up high real quick, if it only jumps up $40 per barrel, it's like, I really don't know why they're bringing them down if their plan is to bring them up. but it's a possibility that they're bringing them down lower so that they can jack them up real quick and shock the hell out of people if there's some type of war type situation. It would be a much more crippling shock on the population. That's a possibility. I don't know. I assume though that the price of world crude oil price, the world crude oil average price will go up tremendously if any type of war starts. North Korea, South Korea. We definitely don't need a nuclear war. That's completely insane. It could happen. My recommendation for you guys is that if you happen to survive a nuclear war and you got radiation in your body, you need to get a lot of vitamin C right now, a lot of vitamins, a lot of B vitamins. This is what I get out of it. A lot of there's a thing called niacin. Niacin, you can check into it. If you never have taken a higher dosage before and a higher amount, you don't want to take a huge amount at once. But I will say this, is that there's a book called Clear Body, Clear Mind. There's a thing called the Purification Program. The creator of it is L. Ron Hubbard. This information here can be used. One can do the program, and also you can read more about niacin and its relation to radiation. Okay, you probably can go any bookstore and check the book out. You can just not even buy it if you want to. Just go ahead and read up on it. It's probably in libraries too, I assume. You can probably go on the internet and read up on it too. Because if you don't get the radiation out of your body, if you're nearby and you say you get some radiation on you, but you don't die, within a certain amount of time, most people are probably going to die anyway. But if you get the radiation out of your body, you very well might survive. But you gotta do it right. And there's you can read about niacin in the book, and you can read about the purification program in the book. It's a crazy world, man. That's all I got to say. Crazy world. Okay, you have a good one. I'm gonna get to sleep. Good night.